Hello, welcome everyone back to the Cosmic Mistress podcast. I'm Amanda, and today we have Lightstone with us. I'm really excited for this conversation because I have not spent much time or talked to Lightstone much, but I'm very curious about you, your journey, and we'll just see kind of where the conversation goes. But to start, I would love to hear who you are. Who is Lightstone? How did you become Lightstone?
Excellent. Well, thank you so
And
much.
Who are you in the world?
Who am I in the world? Oh, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And then to be mildly stalked by the Cosmic Mistress sounds lovely.
Researched.
Research. I was also
Consensually stalked.
100% consensually researched. So again, I am Lightstone. How I became Lightstone, legal name Light. And I changed it from a different name. And I decided if I could be anything, if I could choose to be anything, what would I be? And I choose and continue, present progressive, to be light. And this body is, physical manifestation of what I am. And so kind of light stone being a prism to shine the light out from my heart. And so how I came to that was through a lot of developmental and childhood trauma. And then unfortunately having complicated relations with my environment and learning how to then do that better and well. And choosing to be a being of love and light and sometimes laughter, other times tears. Yeah. And hopefully the majority state of play.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so you are a, what is the work you do? You're a performance coach, you're optimizer, excellence coach for humans. How did you come into that? Yeah. And what's been your journey into that for you?
It's so funny. I feel like all of us coaches, we try to have a title of
little words, and words are very limiting.
Yeah, well, it's always like to try to differentiate ourselves. And I kind of joke around with Ben Duffy. And I know you've been on his podcast and he's been on my podcast. And so I like to just simplify it, be I'm a professional advice giver.
For sure.
I mean, it's kind of people pay me money to give them advice and then their life gets better. Yeah. But how I frame that is a human excellence coach. And so I am human, and I believe that we are divine, energetic beings, literally energy inside of us, electricity, having a very physical 3D human experience. And while you're human, might as well be an excellent one, and you can define what excellent means for you. I can have my subjective definition of what that is. And I do, and I have many. I have one for joy and for love and, this, that, and the other. And I can share those things. But other people need to define what that kind of success metric is for them. And then a matrix for how they can then choose well to optimize for that. And so it's then, human excellence or human optimization.
I love that.
Yeah.
So where did that come into your life? How did you land on this is how I want to be of service. This is who I am. This is what I value. And I want to offer that to other people. Yeah.
That's a great framing. So I ran a company that was basically a gaming company, published my fantasy novels and graphic novels. I was an artist. Yeah. So I'm a published author within the fantasy science fiction space. Have a sci-fi graphic novel of a post-apocalyptic war that happens.
I love this. This is so you're a wild card and I love it. I never would have guessed this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So that book is called The Last Amazon. I can bring a copy if you want. I've got some in my garage. And they're on Amazon, whatever. But cool. And it's set in Denver of what happens after post, World War, whatever. Everyone things are bad. And then it's very Mad Maxian. So that was one of the projects that we published. And then we moved into the TTRPG space, which is Dungeons and Dragons. And so I was a D&D stage performer.
D&D stage performer.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So we were flown all over the country and sometimes world to play D&D in front of a crowd.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a very interesting time of my life.
When was that? How long ago was that?
It's probably 5 and 6 years ago ish. Nice. Yeah, into 4 years ago. Yeah. I did that with my ex-wife, and it was a very intense period. She and I then suffered a really horrible cancel culture experience. Very intense. Together. Oh yeah.
I'd like to talk about this more, but I'll let you
Sure.
continue.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then that entire company unfortunately went down. I lost in one weekend. I think we lost like almost $300,000 worth of contracts.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, cash flow went from doing very well to just done.
Yeah.
And so the company went under. Interesting story about that. So I was talking to a CEO of a very, very, very large gaming company. I won't out him. He was a good friend of mine. And this was before the cancel culture experience. I was CEO. I was making like a lot of money, to be very honest. All that money I was reinvesting back into the company, but our cash flow was very high relatively.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and he had sold his company and cashed out and was living very well and still, doing shows and, very successful still, but was no longer CEO of this very successful gaming company. And I was like, it's so funny. I was like, I can't conceive of myself as not CEO of this thing. Like, how did you do that? And he was like, well, I'm separate from this entity, from this company and my team. And I was like, I remember I was walking, I don't want to say the city because it'll kind of name this organization. I was walking the city with him, and, I was like, I literally can't, and I was being very honest, I literally cannot self-conceive without being CEO of this company. And he was like, well, at some point you will have to, as you get older, you won't be CEO
whether
forever.
Or not you want to. Yeah.
And then about a year later, this whole thing would happen. And I was then faced with this. You're no longer CEO. You're no longer, this thing anymore. What are you now?
Yeah. Who are you? Who am I?
Yeah. And it was really a challenge. It was really hard, particularly getting, death threats and people telling me I should go kill myself. And like, I had to like put on a hood and like leave this hotel, like, because people were like threatening me. It was crazy.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts.
Militant. Like, yeah.
It's scary.
It was scary.
Sounds scary to me.
It was scary because of the amount of like rage and anger that was placed on someone. Like, there are like actual rapists in the world. I mean, look at like the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world. They're actual murderers. I was like a D&D guy, and like got mad at people on the internet, is wild. Like, never stole any money from anybody, like didn't embezzle anything, never like assaulted anyone, like 0 charges were ever levied against me. And the ones that were thrown out. It's like, there are actually really bad people in the world. And yet people like to attack their heroes because they put them on these pedestals and they idolize these people. And then if they do anything, these heroes do anything that is not in line with whatever these other people think they should do, all of that positive projection turns into negative projection.
Yes.
And it was really interesting. I haven't actually talked about this before. So it's like,
thank you.
Yeah, happy to share.
Yeah.
But it was a really wild transition. That to me was the scary part. I was never actually worried for my life. I mean, these were like, I don't know. I mean, Charlie Kirk got assassinated by a furry, apparently. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he actually is that. I don't think that's the one who killed him. But, I guess the militant left can still kill people, apparently, or at least get framed for it. But from this perspective, it is scary for me for society. That's what's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all of that.
And I've got nothing wrong with furries. I enjoy furries. Yiffers maybe is not for me, but I don't know if you know what yiffing is, but
I do not.
So furries are people who dress up in fur costumes and dance and play and have fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's a furry.
Okay.
And a yiffer is one who does sexual interactions while in costume.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Again, not kink shaming.
I love that I have the context for that now, because I feel like I'm aware of that. I've seen these things, but I didn't have the words.
Yeah.
So thank you for that too.
Furries and yiffers. Yeah.
So
not kink shaming, by the way. Yeah.
Never.
There come some. I mean, scat is not. I think not okay. Personally, I would do a little bit of shaming around that.
Yeah.
I think we should probably not play with those two things together. Personally, just my personal.
So when sitting with that question and the scary piece not being the content of what was happening in your life, but
it's scary for me personally. I lost my house.
Yeah.
Eventually lost my marriage. Yeah.
So sitting with that, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, what happened next?
Man.
And what did you find out?
Some of the worst, like, horrible depression of my life. I remember sitting in the hotel as this whole thing like exploded that day and that weekend in the shower, just like not knowing what to do.
Was this happening the same time as your divorce?
No.
Okay.
I stayed with my now ex-wife. We were together, I think, for almost another 8 months, maybe a year.
So through that.
Yeah. Very hard time for both of us. I believe that she has posted this publicly, but she attempted suicide at least twice during that experience. Gosh. Yeah. Very intense for her.
A different experience for her as well then.
Yeah.
So it's interesting too how our experience of like not the same thing happening, but it's always different. We never know how the impact that it's going to have on us or someone else.
We made the choice to try and preserve her career. And so I tried to take the majority. I mean, I like manned up. In hindsight, I don't think I would have done this, particularly how she acted later. But I said, hey, let's try to preserve at least one of our careers.
It's a very instinctual thing to do as a man, though.
I mean, I think so. You know, it wasn't well rewarded in kindness, but yeah. And so we tried to preserve her career. So I basically took most of the hit. She was in the industry more famous than me. I was doing financially much better than she was. I ran a company. She did not. And in hindsight, I would have done a lot of things differently, but you get so stressed. You're just like cortisol and you don't know whose advice to take. I took a lot of her advice, which was a horrible tactical error. I should have listened to my lawyer. But you know, we live, we learn. And it's interesting in those moments. I remember just like sitting in the shower, just like letting like the shower just like go on me. Like what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like no one prepared me for
Shower's
this.
the best place to fall apart.
I know, totally. Yeah, just being in the shower. Yeah, it's like listening, just like fucking Buddhist chants. And it was interesting because in those moments, that was a rock bottom for me, but I'd already hit rock bottom in boarding school with like suicidal ideation. But that suicidal ideation came back again. And then my daughter actually was like the cornerstone of like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck this. Like I had hit the pinnacle of like gaming industry for like a, 30 whatever year old dude. Like that's now been taken from me completely in my mind unjustly. Cancel culture is horrible and heinous.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be here. Like fuck all you, know, like you guys were singing my praises like fucking 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And now everyone wants to like put my head on a pike for what, So I said some like not nice things about my tattoo artist. Like, you goddamn break. It's my opinion. And so then, but I was like, I have a, at the time she's 6, I got a 6-year-old entity at home who is, needs her daddy. And so I'm just going to figure it out. And then we can kind of give ourselves over to, I don't want to say like a higher purpose, but the purpose of being father. And then, and, hopefully I'll find myself, along the process. And then I had a very good therapist at the time. I love therapy. He was a Naropa graduate. I don't know if you're familiar. I won't necessarily say his name, but
huge fan of therapy.
Yeah, me too. And I remember having a session with him. I was like, bro, I've lost the will to live. He goes, okay, like that's like red flag, right? And he's like, okay, I will hold on to it for you. And I will just for when you're ready, and I'll give it back to you when you're ready for it. And I was like, that sounds actually great. I was like, I don't want it right now. And he's like, I do for you, I'm going
to hold it for you.
Yeah.
I'll hold you in it.
Yeah.
I love that. So it sounds like too, your experience of being a father and your daughter definitely played a part in the motivation
to stay here,
and also become.
I would have most likely self-selected out had I not had my daughter. I believe cosmologically that we come here in groups with other people preordained.
Yes.
If you have friends, I have many
soul
friends.
Family.
Yeah, soul family, and it may not even be of the same soul cluster, but just other clusters. But yeah, family, friends, and I didn't want to abandon them either. And so yeah, I knew that there would be a giant hole of whatever I had agreed to do, even just of being companion.
Yeah,
and I didn't want to do that either.
I love that, and I think that's really important because we don't know all of the people that are experiencing the deep pain of not wanting to be alive anymore.
It's real.
And staying connected to, our purpose of being here, and also our connection and the impact that has on our family, our friends, our loved ones. I think that's really important for us to come out of a chapter like that. Yeah. And there's so many more people that experience that than we will ever know, because all that we know are the people that report it. And there's so many people that don't ever tell anyone that they're having those thoughts, because there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that.
Can I speak to that?
Yes.
I don't remember the poet, but it's like Walt Whitman, maybe, I don't know. And he goes, most men live lives of silent desperation. And that resonates. And women too, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm curious then, on the other side of all this pain, on the other side of the chapter of your rock bottom, it sounds like your daughter, being a father, having a connection to the other people that were important to you in your life, helped motivate you to come out of that. But what was the trajectory of you moving through that and then becoming a human excellence coach?
Yeah, totally. It's funny what's coming up for me just talking about like daughter. I'm just like being reminded of something my mom told me. So and part of this, and it ties in, is to try and be the best version of myself and be better than what came before me, not to spite them, but because good God, probably we should do that thing.
And because you're capable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember something that my mom said to both my younger brother and I don't have a great relationship with her. I've tried very hard. And she goes, the only reason I'm still alive is because of the dog.
Wow.
Right. To my, I'm like probably.
How old were you?
I know. I'm probably like 14. My brother's 6 years younger than me.
I don't think it matters how old you are.
Yeah, I know. Pretty wild, right?
Yeah,
and to the dog.
impact.
And the dog's like a poodle, it's like this poodle. And I remember my brother and I looked at each other and we were like, we're fucked. Like, we're fucked, dude. And we're like, I guess we're on our own. So
14.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah, maybe 15 or 16. And she had childhood sexual trauma and all this. So like, I get it. But I mean, yeah.
And and so like, it makes sense. And, people have really intense experiences and it limits the way that they can show up. And it doesn't make it okay that you as a child had to experience the impact of it.
Or being told, I love you, but I don't like you. Yeah. So
that's okay when you're an adult. That is not okay when you're a kid. When you're an adult and you have emotional intelligence and the ability to like intellectualize what that means, there's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I love you, but I don't like you. What a thing to say. Like I just can't imagine saying that to my child, even if I didn't like them.
That would cause me so much pain.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine.
So the reason I bring this up is it's like there's so much predation or predatory behavior in the world. There's so much pain. What then can I do to try to remove this pain for myself and then hopefully help others, remove that pain for them too? And that's a kind of a negative perspective, but it's like if you're bleeding, you got to stop the bleeding, staunch the bleeding, and then maybe find joy, right? Down the line. And so I wanted to first no longer wake up in the morning wanting to die again.
Yeah.
And then find joy later. And I have now in subsequent years, figured out what joy means for me. And it's very like a logical.
What is that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have like this like algorithm for it. And it's very masculine, logical, of like.
Mapped out.
Yeah. Mapped out.
My joy is structured.
Well, the way in which I conceptualize joy is structured so I can get more of it, which is like self-serving thing. So it's the truly safe. So like we're safe here in this room. Like there's no imminent threat. There's not like a fire alarm. Like we're probably not going to get bombshelled like, Yavel might in his hometown in Israel, where that's a real threat. So they're not really safe, not really. And can we say, are we really safe here? Relatively safe, for sure. I'm in the room, so I know if someone's coming in here, all three of us are safe.
I love that for us.
Me too. Yeah, I optimize for that. To be the most dangerous, magnetic, and trustworthy thing in the room. It's one of the things in my coaching program. So truly safe, truly consented or fully consented. So both parties have to have a reasonably high degree of understanding of what the potential outcomes are of this thing that I'm about to share. So you have to be safe, making a good decision, understand what decision we're making, even with the possibility. We mix, like a bunch of different ingredients in. It could come out really bad, but we're consenting. We could be really bad. We don't know. We're like, well, I don't know if I want to have the potential of being really bad. Well, let's mix ingredients that we know we're going to make. They're going to play well. And if it tastes a little bad, it's not going to be really bad. It won't burn us, like acid or something. So truly consented. And then the mutually subjective. So both parties have to both agree that the moment is beautiful. So a podcast.
So is this collective joy? This is an experience with two people.
It's like yes. And so then it's the co-creation of this thing. Yeah. So it's in the co-creation of this thing. So for me, even my intrinsic definition of true joy involves self and other.
Ooh.
But self and other can be.
I love that. That's so different than what I've perceived to be my own joy and other people's. And also that does feel true.
Yeah. And that's like love would be different than this. And happiness would be, this is joy. Now it could be with this coffee cup. I could experience joy with this coffee cup. How much though is the coffee truly consenting and truly feeling that it's a beautiful thing?
Yes. Yes. There needs to be aliveness on the other end of the experience as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the sharing, the co-sharing of this moment and the co-creation. It's like, and it's why I love podcasting. It's like both parties coming in. We're not 100% sure how it's going to go. It's like, wow, this person's really interesting. It's like, I've, mildly stalked them on the internet and like, we're in the same network and like all this cool stuff. But like, there's also a bit of like, I wonder.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Mystery and trusting the mystery.
Yeah.
What's your experience like somatically or in your body with joy?
I always try to breathe in my heart at all times. If not, actually, like I'm like low battery and I start to kind of like keel over. Like I have like a lot of subroutines going on in the background, like a lot of crazy magic shit that I'm doing. So I need to like charge up always. But that, no,
love that.
Quite literally.
I know.
Yeah. As the cosmic, cosmic, right.
Can see it.
Yeah. And a lot of it is actually like keeping the proverbial door safe of the other non-corporeals that are quite predacious in my experience. That is so alive where I no longer have to like intentionally like breathe in and let the energy go up and down my Sushumnani, like open up my third eye, open up my, solar plexus and like be like working. It becomes effortless, even in a place of, I would say, quite a hellacious experience here. We just look at Jeffrey Epstein and all these things. Like this is not a safe planet right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also believe it's a more important time than ever to heal, transform, and also stay connected to your joy.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. And optimize for it.
Yeah. I love that. I would love to talk about, you mentioned consent and the co-creation of an experience with someone else. The podcast that I listened to for a little bit that you did with Ben, when you talked about sexuality, sacred sex, and the consent and boundaries piece with another person.
Sure.
I would love to talk about if you have a process for that.
Sure.
When you are connecting with someone and perhaps vetting.
Yeah.
Are they aligned with my values?
Yes.
Where is their integrity? Is it aligned with mine?
Yes.
Is there a process that you go through?
Yeah.
And then also, second part, I'm curious about outside of what someone is speaking to you.
Yes.
How do you know within yourself that it's true and in integrity with your values?
Yeah. And even that they may be saying one thing, but
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes. So I love all of this. And so, yes, let's talk about it. So to answer the first part of the question, I guess like maybe I'll try to like break it down slightly differently. It's kind of like understanding what is intimacy and connection. What does that mean to us?
Yes.
So what are we looking for? And so I can talk about, if I were to answer for myself, I am looking, and like the quote from that podcast that I really liked, and it's kind of my favorite, at least of one of the ones I've done with Ben. And Ben's so funny because he's always like this, and like he's like flowing. I don't know what that is, and he's like always like flowing around. So funny. Kind of.
He's a mobile talker.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
Just the gesticulation is so wild. That is literally the highest evolution of two other things coming together.
Yes.
Just like quite literally, masculine, feminine. And you find God or goddess in this other person, and you are mating.
So we're talking about sex.
Okay. Yeah. Intercourse.
Yes.
Yeah. Like actual physical intercourse. And we can have degrees of separation from that. It's a spectrum. So the Visky's Pisces, if we have a circle, so you and I are interrelating. We're having a very, very powerful experience. And so it is not sexual intercourse, but there's intimacy in this experience.
Yeah.
And so the third thing that we are creating here in the Visky's Pisces, you're familiar with like is this thing that we're creating. That's the joy. Right. So the Visky's Pisces for me is very intrinsically in line as sacred geometry with the little word algorithm that I've created for joy. When you are having sexual intercourse, that overlap becomes like you can have like at-one-ment with that. So if that's what you're optimizing for, then you need to be able to communicate that with the other person. So if I'm remembering your question correctly, and please, you can kind of like put me back on guide rails for it. Is it then like how do you then make that?
So if you're connecting with someone and you are vetting for the potential of engaging sexually with them,
yes.
Do you have a process for understanding whether or not what sex means to them?
Yep.
what they value about sex, the vision that they have for like what that would mean for both of you if you're having sex. What are the expectations after?
100%.
Do you have a process for that?
Yeah.
Because I think this is really important. And I have my own too that I've used. But it's so helpful for people because we're not taught how to skillfully communicate, period.
Right.
And then sex is a whole thing in and of itself.
Particularly
that is
for Gen Zs right now.
Yeah. And it's very it can be shameful. Like we just did not learn how to communicate, and especially not around sex. And it's probably one of the most important areas to know how to communicate about.
Yeah. Particularly if you want divine communion with deity through human bodies. Yeah. I totally agree. So for me, I then communicate what I just did. And it's like, if a person like glazes or whatever, then it's like not a good match.
So you need that spiritual alignment as well.
I have made the vow to myself. I have this distinction in my coaching program. Oaths are made to other beings and people or community or whatever. And vows you make to yourself.
Yes.
And that then if you are in alignment with yourself, and if you truly love yourself, you make a vow to yourself. And that's how I chosen and present progressive continuously choose to orient to sexual interaction. And so I only choose to be sexually intimate or even share sexual energy.
Yes.
Right. And so I keep my lower chakra safe.
I love that too. That can be a whole other thing. But I'm hearing too that it's important for the other person to be able to acknowledge and understand what all of that means for you. Yeah.
And so I think I'm like answering the question by saying the thing. And so really know what you want and then communicate that. Because for other people, like Ben, for example, and not shaming him, he's 29, right? I'm 40. He's like, I'm having fun, just kind of like learning and I love,
and that's okay too.
Totally okay.
Yeah.
Zero judgment.
Yeah.
And he has a good tight bounded ethics. And I suggested to him, like, you should probably communicate a little bit around some of the timeframes. Because he was like, yeah, I think most of the girls are sad that we don't hang out more. I'm like, well, did you communicate that? And again,
we all can assume so many things, but until it's actually communicated, we don't know.
Right. And so it's
communication brings the clarity, and that's always going to feel so good. Even if it's not aligned, it's going to be so much better for both people.
Yeah.
And to not have to wonder, like, if you're ever wondering, like, what is the other person's experience of this? What does it mean to them? What's the expectation? Where are we going to go from here? Do they want to spend more time with me? Just fucking ask.
Yep. Yeah.
Just ask. And that's really hard for people.
People need to have the bravery to be able to ask, and the self-knowledge and self-understanding to be able to know what they want, to even be able to ask for what they want.
And the self-worth to understand that no matter what, it doesn't necessarily mean anything about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to be very clear. I'm not speaking ill of Ben. He's one of my best friends.
No, me neither. I know. Ben's great.
I just wanted to
say. There's different meanings to sex. There's different boundaries. There's different relational dynamics. And I think the more clearly that we can communicate around it, whether we're poly or monogamous or whatever it is, it's going to support everyone involved. And that's the risk of not.
Yeah.
Is causing more pain.
Can I layer another thing on top of this? So, and I really appreciate this conversation. So thank you. I think that we need to be having these conversations. It's like
I think people need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need this.
We all do. We all do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the reasons I like literally started podcasting was to be able to have these conversations with really fucking cool people. Goddess level, celestial people is from the podcast name. Sorry, it's like a bad callback to saying that you have a cool podcast name.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I have this concept. I don't know if other people have done this before. I've not encountered it, but a difference between an event and a vector. So an event is like me drinking this coffee is going to be an event. There will be a time where there's no coffee left. It's done. But I'm actually vectoring on every time I come here. If it's before 12, I have coffee. And so the vector is something that is like present progressive. And so relationships can be either events. And so what Ben is looking at is more of events. So he's like, I don't think he's
there's
like,
a start and a stop. Is that
like,
correct?
This is what we're doing. Yeah. We're like, and that's like a very BDSM type thing, which I've been involved in the past. And sometimes there's contracts, like literal contracts right now. So there's fucking clarity, immaculate clarity.
Yeah. And that's necessary in certain contexts.
100% necessary in certain contexts. And a marriage is a contract too. So like necessary
business
there.
Deal. Yeah.
It is a business deal. And you can get, it's really rough when it doesn't go well. Let me tell you, I mean, have you been divorced?
I was never married. I was engaged. But,
okay, there you go.
2 kids. it's similar.
It's very similar.
Less court.
Well,
but
emotionally, I'm sure probably
it's similar.
Yeah, very similar. So I personally, Lightstone, am not interested in events in my life at 40. I want a vector, and I want a vector of not the Disney happily ever after, whatever the fuck that is, unless it's, I don't know, one of the more interesting Disney movies and that is not the standard trope.
Or a dream.
Yeah. But for me to have true partnership and matriarch, patriarch, I've had some lovely people on my podcast that are more conservative Christians, where it's very, very patriarchal, that they don't have female ministers or female pastors in their churches. That's very hard for me. And I actually really love their communities. And every time I bring it up, that's not for me. I want there to be priest and priestess.
I just started going to church because my 8-year-old was begging me. Yeah. Oh, really? And the reverend is a woman.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, if you ever want to have a very different experience, but a very interesting community, I don't know if I would suggest you guys to go there often, but I'd be happy to go to the Well with you. It's very conservative. They're non-affirming.
I love experiencing
Come to the Well with
contrast.
Me.
Yeah, I would love to.
I'll try to do it with a day where I have my daughter Freya.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so the girls can go. And we would want to talk to them beforehand that this is a very specific place where they don't have female pastors. And we'd be like, how do you feel about that? And my kid will be like, what? And that I think is honestly the appropriate response.
Totally.
And yet their community is very stable in this chaos that we're experiencing now. I'm getting a little sidetracked, but it's like,
I love that. So tell me why that is important to you. The
stability,
the patriarch, matriarch, what it is in partnership is where we were at.
Yeah. So that's a really lovely segue. Thanks for wrangling my mind. When I'm on other people's podcasts, I kind of open like this. So
it's a beautiful place to be, super open, and you're not having to create the structure. I've got it.
I appreciate it. I want to peer. I want to be met and meet. I'm happy to take the hit. I'm happy to be the one who stands up and if someone's gonna get shot, you want it to be the fucking big one. And that's fine for me. But then I want the sacred feminine to then do that in the other way. And then if I'm getting
with the heart,
or however that manifests, and I don't even want to be presumptuous to say how that should be and tell her how that should look, right?
I love that.
Because that's then what that peer group is. And I think that can also be sometimes it'd be okay, relax a little bit, take a deep breath, whatever it is, checking the masculine, and then the masculine checking the feminine in a healthy way. But when you have a patriarchal system, that doesn't occur.
Right.
You can't.
So withholding that as the vision for partnership when you're engaging with somebody in a relational dynamic with the potential to move into a sexual experience with them. What's the process of figuring out whether or not you guys are aligned?
So
and the conversations.
I have found that I can compress, we can call it time magic, or I just talk a lot, and then also do time magic, can compress probably about a month to 2 to 3 months worth of communication and getting to know a person within usually about 4 to 4 days. The other party has to be present
and
participate. They usually aren't used to moving that quickly in conversation and getting to know,
not being that close to truth consistently.
Their own truth too, and sharing from that space, or having I hold the container for that, and it usually involves staying up very late at night talking on the phone. Doesn't have to be in person, but really understanding, is there alignment of goals? Is there alignment of values? I call this my coaching program a direction,
because you're figuring out if there's potential for it to be long term, if there's potential for it. I
want to get married. That's what I want. I want to get married, and in this culture that means something. It means something to me. And for me also, marriage is
I love this too, especially now where we're at with relationships, and especially living in Boulder, there's so many open dynamics, there's so much poly, there's so much shifting away from the sacredness of monogamy and partnership, and there's nothing wrong with any of it. I just love this perspective too, because it's turned into being not as common. It's not as common anymore.
It by almost it feels like an order of magnitude in the Boulder spiritual community. I feel like everyone's open relating now. It's wild,
which is great. And then there's this.
I don't know if it's great, honestly. I don't know if it's great.
I
don't know. I'm curious.
I don't think people are not to get off topic, we'll come back to the questions and the conversations with sex, but I don't think the majority of us are equipped to have the conversations that are necessary and have the communication skills in order to navigate open dynamics in a very honest, loving, supportive way where it's not negatively impacting everyone that's involved.
Their lives.
And also where it's not negatively impacting us from avoiding growth. And that's what I've seen a lot too, is people moving towards open relating and being in these polydynamics. And when you don't have the tools and you haven't moved through some of the trauma that you've experienced when you were younger, sometimes it's a way to avoid the deeper intimacy that you don't get to unless you go deep with one person. Because it takes a while to get there.
And it's like, if you have like 5 relationships that you're nourishing, or even 4 or even 3, like if one gets a little rocky, I see people that's like I'm done now. And it's like,
especially as the masculine, how do you hold that many women? And as the woman, I think it's hard too, because it's where's your value, where's your worth, all of those conversations. But really, I think it's a declaration of like what we actually want and what we actually need. Yeah. And I think that it gets tricky with sex. It gets tricky with all of that. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong. My hope would be that we're able to move through those conversations and those dynamics with more honesty and more compassion and love. And I think that's what's missing there.
It feels to me like it's just a bunch of events and not vectors. And that's good for learning. But I come from it from a very like Shiva Shakti, divine feminine, divine masculine, like the highest evolution of unity here in polarization is 2 coming together, creating a third. Third is love. And that is the Trinity.
Yes. I talk about that all the time, the third energy.
Yeah.
And I think the intimacy too that you experience when you go really, really deep with one person is so much more powerful, growth oriented, and also really scary. And I think that is the block for a lot of people too, is because it requires you to be seen. It requires you to look in the mirror, and it requires you to also be responsible for yourself and be responsible for the well-being of someone else at such a different level than when it's a little bit more diluted, where your energy is going in a bunch of different places.
So it's so much safer. And and you're not, I don't know. I've been poly a little bit. And I remember the girl that I was with was like kind of trying to get a rise out of me, like talking about what she was doing sexually with this other dude. And was like talking about like how big he was and all this stuff. I remember I just didn't give a fuck. And I was like, oh, cool, like whatever. Like I had zero charge.
What do you attribute that to? Is it because you had agreed to be poly, so it's like that was okay?
I just didn't care. And I didn't care. And this was in college. And I just remember just like not caring. And she's this lovely, like her name was Ashley. It was this lovely girl. And I just remember being like, Ashley, like, why are you telling me this? Like, what are you trying to communicate to me right now? Are you trying?
And what did she say?
She goes, I think I want you to be jealous.
And I think that there's something really powerful in that. I don't think that that's wrong. Like, I think women want to be claimed. And I don't think jealousy is wrong. We all have it in some sense. And I think that women want to be claimed. And also I think that they want to know that who they're with fucking cares.
And probably wants them to not be fucked by some other dude, is my opinion, to be quite honest. And like the funny thing there is,
I think all that's very instinctual and normal too.
And so like where I come to it now, shout out to Bison Tallow
for the vanilla frosting tallow.
Another one of the podcasters here at Let's Do Podcasting Studio with Yvel Peretz. Bison Tallow, everyone. Sorry, my lips are a little chapped. And so I think like now when I conceptualize whoever I've been with the past 10 years when I was with them, or
no, I think I'm mirroring you.
Okay. That was like a secret.
No, you're good.
Bro, you got some talent.
No, you're good. I will tell you.
Or excuse me, whoever I'm going to be with in the future, like them sleeping with another dude, like I would not be violent towards them if it was a consensual thing. But if it wasn't consensual, I wouldn't want to be that guy. Right. And so it's like, it's so diametrically opposed now to where I am. Like, I'm even just like thinking about it, like my throat's closing up. It's like,
because you're a different person now. Your values have probably changed. Your identity has probably shifted, and
no longer 22.
And and your desire and capacity for intimacy, and connection has also probably widened.
Yeah.
So the questions around before you engage with someone sexually, figuring out whether or not there's alignment with values. I'm in integrity, they're in integrity, and also,
then could I marry this person?
Is this not is there potential for this to be an event, or is there potential for this to be vector?
For me, there's no interest in events. I had a situation relatively recently. I'm a stage performer. I'm a dancer. Like I'm a superhuman. Basically, I take superhuman drugs, performance enhancing drugs. So like most guys don't look like this. And so when we're like, hey, like, you want to fucking go for a ride? And like, I'm literally a stage performer, like dancing in
the ride being you.
Yes.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Like,
just
like you want to have fun, you want to have sex. And I dance in Denver, and I have never, ever said yes to any one of those events ever. I'm just not interested in that. These are not lovely. Some of them are professional dancers as well. Like, we are stage performers together.
What would that create for you if you did say yes?
Man, that would go against the vow that I have of how I view sexuality.
So self-betrayal.
Self-betrayal, and also betrayal to the person that I want to be with. I want to be with a person who...
I love that you're keeping your future wife in mind while you're making decisions.
Every time.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Every time.
She's thanking you already.
Well, I'm literally thinking, okay, whoever I'm going to be with, I think is going to be this magical, beautiful, person, peer to me. Would I want her, if she's doing whatever, if she's a dancer, some guys, of course, are going to fucking do whatever she asks to have sex with her. So she's going to have more opportunity than I do. Women have more choice for sex. Do I want her to either work on herself in this moment, like get ready for our future together, or go fuck some dude? Definitely not fuck some dude.
Right. I think that's the magnetism piece too. You're already operating as if it's going to happen, which it will, but you're making choices from that place now versus waiting.
I'm already on the vector.
Her.
I'm on the vector, and I'm waiting for the other. I like spaceships just because I believe that.
I've gathered that.
Yeah, I'm so into it. Well, I believe actually that aliens are currently here running this planet.
Some of you can see them in some of the clouds. I believe that some of the clouds are actually spaceships
100%,
disguised as clouds.
100%. Yeah, and there are good ones, there are bad ones, and fuck Jeffrey Epstein. And so when her proverbial or literal spaceship aligns in vectoring to me, I'm already on that trajectory, and you're
waiting.
I'm on a fucking good clip, and it's like, and she may be clouding and be hidden and right there too. All the more reason to not go waste my time. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
So I'll share too the questions that I typically ask, and I'll also share what can also possibly go wrong, even if you ask these questions, because that has also happened, which is not very fun, but there's potential for that. So the questions I ask too are, what does sex mean to you? And this one's really important because for me, yes, sex is play, sex is fun, it's pleasurable, it's passionate, there's desire there, but it's also, I have such a deeply spiritual connection with sex and with God during sex. And so if I connect with someone and they're like, I just like to fuck, or sex is just sex, or, I know immediately that we're not aligned.
Right.
So there's that piece. The next question is all around like safety. Okay. So STD questions, last time people have been tested.
Paperwork, please.
Exactly. How do you know this to be true? When was the last time you had sex? Is there anyone in your life that, like, how many sexual partners have you had? How many do you currently have? Is there anyone in your life right now that thinks they are your girlfriend?
Right.
That's a really important one. That's a like initial question I would ask someone.
And I want you to keep going. I just want to throw in one of the questions that I heard just from Instagram, which is I think actually a good place for information if you're following good people. I mean, we're both on Instagram, so Instagram is great. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is the way in which we're speaking right now, is there anyone in your life that is close to you in some sort of intimacy that would be uncomfortable by this conversation?
Yes.
Because there may not even be clarity around titles. How would she feel about how we're talking right now? Because that's ethics. Because then you're currently engaging in a conversation with me about this. Is there anyone in your life that you have like that would feel that this is inappropriate? And if so, why the fuck are you having this conversation with me right now?
Right.
In my opinion, I don't know. So just throwing that out there is another. Yeah.
So are you asking if there are people in my life that think this conversation
not
is
you literally no
let me think about that.
No, not you literally, but I mean, sure. I mean, I'm interested by that now. Now that you mention it,
we're here now.
Now that you mention it, not you literally, but instead of like, do you have a girlfriend? Because someone like Ben, again, not speaking of Ben, very good friend of mine. I've got your peptides in the car. Literally, he didn't pick them up yesterday. It's legal here in Colorado. So he does not have a girlfriend, but I think I would posit as his friend that there are multiple women that would be uncomfortable with some of the conversations that he's having with other women. And so in my personal humble opinion.
So you're saying in the sense of being open or poly, are these conversations,
are
you having these conversations with other women?
And is our conversation clean from this other vectors or this other person's perspective?
Even though our conversation is clean, are the conversations you're having with other women
and will
pure
they
and clean?
think it's clean?
Yes.
It's clean to me.
Would it be okay for me to have this conversation with them?
Yeah. Or with someone else.
I love this. Yeah.
Because it's like,
where is the clarity being dropped?
Yes. And I think that goes in line with exactly what you're saying, but people are not well equipped to actually have these conversations. So it's like, but you've got to put yourself in this other person's perspective. This is
for me is the integrity piece. If you're not able to have the conversations, I don't think you're ready to engage.
I don't think
in that
with
way.
Anybody. Yeah. And
in
at
that
least
way.
Do one at a time.
Like, try on some one person stuff first and have the conversations. The last question I typically ask too is, if we have sex, what will that mean after? What are the expectations after?
I love that. Yeah. Intimacy. I don't know. I'm a writer and I like make up apparently like long algorithms to try to understand joy and love. But one of them is like true intimacy is built the morning after in the kitchen. Like, what do you do? Like, is the person even still there afterwards? Like when you're cooking food, like
Are they there more than just physically too?
What kind of conversation are you having? Like, are you like touching them affectionately, or is everyone like, okay, like that's the intimacy? Because like as someone like you've been in a relationship, you got 2 kids. I've been in a relationship. Like, sex is fucking great, and like really great, but it's those moments in between, right? There's a lot more of that, even if you have a lot of sex.
Those are the most important conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. And the in-between ones.
And then what happens when something goes wrong? Like the altar catches fire? Like, does the person fucking bolt and leave for the door? Or do they bring water, blankets, and cook breakfast?
Yeah, I love that. And how can we both be a safe space for people to choose to come back and stay and not feel like they have to run? And also sometimes patterns and trauma. Yeah, it's just going to happen.
And if you don't yet have the foundation in your relationship to be able to hold those things,
don't fuck.
Yeah, should you be having sex with them in the first place? How about you wait a little bit? How about you go to Dushanbe Tea House, go on a fucking hike, or talk to them? No, but seriously, yeah.
No, I love that. And another thing I heard you mention with what I listened to on the podcast was how you would wait. You said that you would wait, I think, a year before having sex.
Would I? Sure.
Yeah. With the right person. Sure. And then you were like, fuck, I'd wait.
He goes 2 years. I go, sure, whatever. Yeah. Like, I want to hold hands and cuddle in the bed. But like, I would not be a militant conservative Christian, not to even say that they are bad. So if shit goes down, I know who I'm going to hang out with. It's called the Well in Boulder, Colorado. Thank you, gentlemen. I look forward to keeping our children safe. But they are like, wait till marriage for this reason.
Why do you think more, not just men, but women too, why do you think that people have a hard time committing to the potential of that, the potential of waiting a very long time to engage sexually?
Yeah, I think
with the right person.
Yeah, I think one, I've been divorced twice, so the fear of, is this the right person? There's, I think our culture, and like I was told this by so many older males in my life, and I look back and I have never once said this ever, and I'm like, I was told by uncles, my dad, fucking grandparent males, literally, fuck as many women as you can.
That's so interesting, because women, like what I got was, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant, you're a slut, and you'll die.
Well,
like that is the other end of it.
Dudes are saying like,
so dudes are just trying to fuck the chicks that don't want to be a slut and get pregnant and died.
But like, what horrible advice. And usually it
Yeah.
was from men who were in marriages that they did not care about. And they assumed that all marriages ended in loneliness and lack of sexual intimacy and lack of connection. And they're like, you young man, you have the opportunity to have whatever you want in their minds.
We're not having sex, so go have all of the sex that we cannot have anymore
Yeah.
because we haven't created the intimacy to sustain sex.
And because I, boomer, am the highest evolution of human, you too will be in a shitty situation like me when you are older, because no one could ever be better than me because I'm a fucking baby boomer. So you should just take this opportunity now, because you are going to be with a fat old cow too. Yeah. No, thank you, gentlemen. You are wrong. And yeah, you can, I don't know, go be lonely by yourself.
So is that what you're referencing as potentially impacting?
Totally. So these guys then
not
are
being
wanting,
able to...
yeah, and so they don't even know what they're optimizing for. Yeah, and I think our society is so incredibly broken, and divorce rates are so incredibly high. I think they're active non-corporeal and literal corporeal alien spaceships, and this is just my personal belief. People are like, whoa, here we go, that are trying to divide and conquer not just this country, but this entire planet. It's like you see like humans getting so fucking angry at each other. Be like, you are still a human being in this huge populated cosmos with I think a lot of different alien life. And I think we are fucking encaged in a basically like a chicken pen and being preyed upon and fed upon of our negative emotions. So I would just keep on fucking slapping that cage and making all the beings just like, you know,
wake up.
Well, but I think they're slapping it to make them cry, and then and what is being fed upon is the cries and suffering. Yeah. And there are people who are trying to press in, and these we call them like bodhisattvas, like you know, like Tara, green Tara, and you know, trying to be born into it. But I mean, it's a much larger cosmological perspective. Maybe we talk about that on my podcast.
I would love to.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So this concept of being able to wait for the right person, can we talk about the concept of the right person?
Absolutely.
And how like how will you know? How would you know?
I know.
How may someone else know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great question. I think that's probably like the penultimate question, right? Of this. Yeah. And so I have this like little mental trick that for me works, I guess. I mean, but I've not found the person yet. So, you know, up in the air.
And do you think there's only one?
This is the thing. Yeah. I believe, it is my belief that there is like unity, all like source God/goddess, right? It would be God parentheses S as well. So like masculine, feminine is there. It's just all is one. That gets split into masculine, feminine, right?
Okay.
We can call it male, female, light, dark. It wouldn't be light and dark though, because that there's like, it's just other.
Just the energy. Yeah.
Correct.
The structure and the flow.
Yeah. So from this perspective, we then can like differentiate. We could have like orders of like cosmic beings, blah, blah, blah.
Spirit team.
100% and like soul grouping, and then it goes all the way down to like my fucking cat Thunder in my apartment, you know, who can trace his lineage to the Cthulhuids, like those are the tentacly ones. It's very complicated.
Oh, pets are soul family too.
Oh, he's also a familiar, so he's both separate and connected, and he's got Cthulhuid in him. I don't know how familiar with like fucking Cthulhuids, but it's very complicated having a Cthulhuid cat. When I am very deep in meditation and or psychedelics, I can actually see some of his like stuff, and
that's fun.
It's gross. Well, Cthulhuids are gross, but think about.
I'm not familiar, but
they're like Lovecraftian horrors, basically. It's good
like,
yeah.
Horrors like
horrors like scary. Yeah, okay. Not horrors. No,
not slutty.
I don't think Thunder's ever had sex before.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we had him. Oh my God, sorry, bro. So
that going down, and then
we become humans, and you can trace your lineage to all sorts of cool things. But if a person so chooses and has the ability to choose this, I believe that then if you're going to like yag-yum or like divine sexual union with someone, you'd probably have one that you want to do that with, that you play with frequently throughout time and space. Maybe you take little breaks and go on little side quests.
So you think there's only one, even past lives, present lives, future lives? You believe in one? Would you call it a soulmate?
I think that there are in the universe actually only two separate conscious entities. but like in everything, masculine, feminine, that there are two players to the game, and that there is a third thing that is co-shared between them that we would call love, and that third thing eventually probably creates its own, is in its own universe someplace else. And that is how universes like populate.
I love that.
It's like very meta. And so if a person wants to like orient and look at that highest evolution of divine masculine, feminine,
you have to make the conscious choice into this
part of the game.
Okay.
Then there is very clearly one for you. But if you then start to veer off and then want to be a Cthulhuoid or get in touch with your Cthulhuoid parts, and your partner in this lifetime is like, I'm really not down with the tentacles. And if you're going to have tentacles, they got to be fully healed white ones. I don't want the black ones. Like, you're not putting that inside of me like that.
So do you believe in like sacred contracts, like sacred
100%.
Contracts?
Totally.
But so do you believe that's only with one person?
Well,
Like
I think it depends on the nature of the contract, right? So I definitely, I tell this story, and it's a lovely story about my first wife. And I don't speak ill of her, and she's a lovely person. We co-share a child. When I first saw her, I smelled her first, and I was like, and someone who I was living with,
like pheromones, or
I have a very strong sense
aura?
of smell.
Like you smelled her aura, or?
It was very, I mean, all of that, yes, but like I have a very strong sense of smell. She and I were actually
the one that's most connected to manifestation, I believe.
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting. And I've been told that there was this beautiful young woman living in this house. And I then moved in, and I like knew that somewhere in the environment there's going to be this like pretty blonde, post grad. But it was like, okay, cool. Like I look forward to this.
You moved into the house that she was in.
Correct. There was a bunch of post grads.
Did you smell her before you got into the house?
Yeah. No, I smelled her. I entered the house. She went off doing a thing. I came back. She had just come back from a run, and I literally just smelled something, and I was overcome by this. I have never felt it before. Had never felt it before. Have not ever felt this since. Was impregnate this being.
From the smell.
Just from the
smell.
Smells
like I need to impregnate her.
It was you are supposed to.
Yeah.
You were supposed
to. It's a message through the smell.
You were supposed to have a baby with this being. I'm like 20, whatever.
What did you do with that information? Did you tell her, or did you ever tell her?
First, I was like, sounds great. Like, let me see. Like,
you were 20?
Yeah, I was 20 something. I was probably like 22, 23.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like
that
sounds lovely. And I'd already like spent a lot of time living in monasteries. So I was like pretty tapped into whatever. And like graduated from Europa. And I was like, okay, sweet. Like what you got for me? And then see this, beautiful 20, whatever, blonde chick. I was like, okay, awesome. And so went up and talked to her, and it was funny. Like my opening line I literally had no idea what to say. And I go, do you like bikes? And she looked at me like, she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like you weirdo. She was like, not really. Like, but why do you ask? Like, I'm happy to talk to you. Like, you must be the new guy that moved in.
What's your name?
Yeah, it's totally like a normal thing to say. And I was like, here, look at this interesting bike video on my phone. Like, just no.
Do you think you were nervous because you were told that you needed to make a baby with her?
I'm just a weirdo.
Oh,
I'm just a weirdo.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm just an odd dude. I have gotten better at talking to potential people around this stuff. And so, yeah. So from this perspective, I totally believe that was a soul contracted thing. She and I would joke when we were married, living together. We had a pretty good relationship while we were together. At the end, it got hard. Both of us weren't, I think, well prepared just to deal with our conflict. Not blaming her, me either. We didn't fight much earlier on, and then life just got hard for us. But we would joke. We were like, "Why are we even married?" And we'd like laugh, like, "Haha." Yeah, I know.
What was underneath that?
Well, confusion. Why are we married? Like it's not that we're not happy, but like I'm so weird, and it's not that she's not weird. She's her own unique person, but we're like so very different. My point is, I do believe we were supposed to have this human. Now, a psychologist might say that's self-serving bias to get out of like whatever. I don't know, man. Like, I would say, sure, that could be real. I don't think so.
Yeah, you can analyze it all you want.
Bingo.
And you had your experience, which is true.
Real for me.
And so I'm curious with that. I want to hear more.
So that would be a soul contract thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how that interplays. Do you believe that now that you're choosing the conscious path of one person, there's one right person, that wouldn't happen again?
Which?
Because was she not the right person? My question is, you had that experience. You believe it was a soul contract with your first wife. How does that connect to you believing that you only have one right person?
So the way that I conceptualize this, she has a predominant Norwegian genealogical background. My daughter's name is Freya. To be able to bring Freya into this world and have her be Freya or a manifestation of Freya, she's got to have more
and
Norse.
That's why you needed to impregnate.
Exactly. She needed to have more Norse than I have. I have enough to be able to be whatever that is, and be Odin's son. Again, like the genealogical perspective that these different ages, like Jewish people have the genes of Yahweh. For better, for worse, it's a lot there, but it's very powerful. Just like Norwegian people are Odin's son. There's a lot there. Odin's not a great guy necessarily. I also have genealogy from Italy.
I just ordered an ancestry kit literally like 2 days ago.
Oh, cool. You're going to find out.
I'm going to find out.
So, I have from Italy. And so there's, you're like the Zeus lineage. So there's a lot, you have those gene keys in you. I'm covered in Sanskrit, was able to get, Indian descent through this. I have a huge Shiva tattoo over my heart. I spent a lot of time. I don't have any of that blood in me, but it has been imprinted literally inside of me. I did a blood pact with a young woman who is half Japanese, half Chinese to co-share. It was very intentional. She wanted some of my ancestry. I wanted some of hers to be able to bring that and have that. In Nihongo Hasu, I speak Japanese. I have many memories of Japanese and Bushido. And so from this perspective, for Freya to have all of the gifts, the magical gifts, I believe that she wants to have, and again, she's her own sovereign being, she do what she wants, that she wanted to have this being and wanted to have her mommy be her mommy.
Her soul needed that experience.
And I think she probably just wanted that mommy. And she's a really good mommy. Like her mom's really good. Like I'll tear up thinking about it.
Yeah,
I don't agree with everything that my first wife has done or is currently doing. But like as a mother, she's fucking great. And so it would make sense to me that Freya would want her as her mom,
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't want to prevent, I don't know, like that makes sense to me. And then even my second wife, I learned so much. I do believe she's an incarnate demon woman and succubus. I mean, she did porn for a long time before she met me, like literal succubus. She was a sex worker, literal demon. Her fans would send her photos and pictures of her with horns frequently. There are pictures of her with horns. I mean, it's like, you can't make this shit up. It was like, I brought this for you.
But there was alignment there. No?
With me.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Angels love learning from demons, I also have memories of, demon past lives stuff. Mine was more of like, I have to be here. I need a body here. I guess I'm gonna take a demon body. But
So at what point?
But that was a soul contract to learn. Yeah.
At what point did you come to realize there's just one right person for me?
It was actually with my second ex-wife where she kept saying, I'm your soulmate. And I kept saying, a soulmate is aligned. We are not aligned. We have to then line up. I'm here and you're here. We're like,
what is a soulmate for you?
It's that divine masculine, divine feminine. It's like you are here in alignment to do this thing. There is a co-sharing of energy. I think for me, I've done so much meditation and so many psychedelics, legally here in Colorado and in other countries. I have to be very clear about this, apparently, talking to legal counsel. Legally, don't break the law, everyone. I'm not promoting breaking the law. Pay your taxes. Fucking our government. Seriously, it's ridiculous to me. But here we are. I have had experiences of feeling this other person. And so
Before they're here, before you meet them?
Well, we're all here, right? Our energetic fields
Before you
are
physically
overlapping.
come into contact.
In 3D physical contact. Yeah. And now having that feeling, but then meeting face to face, when does that occur? When does that click? That's, hard to tell.
Totally.
But that person for me is as alive and vibrant as any person would be. Yeah. And so for me, and I orient myself to shine out as a beacon. Like here I am, like flash,
light,
flash, yeah, flash. And then it would be drawing like seeds. Like I like to joke saying like I cast the widest net in the universe. It's a perfect net because it's only designed to catch one fish.
Do you believe soulmates are just the male, female, masculine, feminine counterparts, or what about friendship?
Yeah, I think all of it. But again, I will consolidate up into total unity source breaking into masculine and feminine. And so in this moment, we can be here. And from that perspective, you can represent that feminine here in this moment. And so you can be in this moment, my soulmate from this perspective here now.
So it's not limited to the person that you want, the right person
Well,
that you want to spend.
eventually they're going to take a human 3D physical avatar form to be with. And then what that form is not for me to decide. That's for that. And that's for that divine feminine to decide and then gift to me. And I believe I am a gift to then gift to that entity. Does it make, yeah. And so friendships can manifest that way too. But again, then friendship, we're down into differentiation of like, you know, a lot of people talk about like the different Elohim or however we want to talk about these things, you know, the like angels of play, which then would be, you know, angel of discord in the inverse side, you know, the angel of peace, which is then the angel of conflict. Again, this is more of like a cosmological perspective, but to answer the question, I have to think about it logically and then lay it out and then
I'm sensing that.
describe it. Yeah. And it's more of a masculine thing probably.
Yeah. But the fact that you also like, you know, smelling your ex-wife before meeting her, you are very tapped into like,
psychosomatic. Felt body sense.
So there's both for sure.
Heart and head are connected. Yeah.
I love that.
And then you connect that down to loins, and that's when you then have divine sex. Yeah.
Thank you. So where do I want to go with this now? How have those relationships, the contracts, and those dissolving with your ex-wives or previous partners even, what's been your experience with that allowing you to become more of yourself, maybe shifting your values?
Sure.
And what I'm really getting at too is the power and the becoming that comes through divorce, that comes through rock bottom, that comes through being really fucking alone or depressed, or that comes through losing a connection that at one point maybe you thought you were going to have forever, and losing that vision, that future of forever. Because I've had this too. And it's been one of my, outside of also having children, it's been one of my most powerful awakenings. Yeah.
It's such a great question. And Yuvelle is telling us that it's time for us to soon start part 2.
Okay.
So we'll continue the conversation on my podcast, but I'm going to answer this excellent question. Otherwise he'll throw his coffee cup at us.
Thank you, Yuvelle.
Yeah. Thanks for the time check, brother. It's such a big question. And the larger question here for me that this is then encapsulated inside of is, why the fuck is these horrible things happening to me in my life? Right? We were like simplify it. Why am I experiencing these horrible traumas? Right? Like, oh my God, what did I do? Is this karma? Do I deserve this? Right? I don't like that personally. That's punishment. I do not believe in a God that punishes. I believe in
it's victimization as well.
Well, I believe in not a God, but a God who's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, is a dog, and a dirty dog who is then, I don't know, fucking not being deific. And then larger gods come in and line things up better. So how I choose to orient to this and how I do this in my coaching program is I frame it as a what if. I do believe that this is true. And it's kind of like some people are probably not optimized in their current life to find that one soulmate person. They're on a series of events, and wherever they are on their lifelong path of trajectory, they're still learning. Okay, why are you learning? That's a larger question. What are you learning? Blah, blah, blah. So to answer your question directly, I choose to orient the direction that I am heading, that literally everything in my past, chosen and unchosen, free will is a thing, in my opinion. We do get to choose no matter what.
Conscious and unconscious.
Yeah, and conscious and unconscious. So it's layers of choice, you know, but still choice and higher choice too. Higher dimensional parts of us that have more perspective, that have degrees of influence over us.
Totally. Fate.
Yeah, and fate too. So we can have the fates, other, you know, larger entities that are even, you know, maybe less human perspective, also influencing. Everything that's happened to me is preparing me for exactly where I want to go. And even the times that I've made mistakes,
especially those probably,
yeah, I've veered off, and that mistake has put me back on course. Sometimes it's ground me into the dirt a little bit, right? And like my cancel culture experience, I know I could have done things differently and avoided certain things, but I paid dearly, and I wear some, proverbial scars from this, and I turn them into, instead of a flaw, into a feature. And so when and I encourage others to at least be curious about this, take that perspective that everything that's happened to me in my past is preparing me for this beautiful future that I'm co-creating, joyful.
I love that so much.
And you transmute the whole thing.
I love that this is the wrapping up of all of this. I love that.
So all the divorces, all the pain, all the suffering,
it's
all the everything.
Preparing you for where you're going.
Yep.
And it sounds like for you too, eventually that's finding the right one. All of those experiences have allowed you to become who you are and to serve other people and also in their becoming. I love that.
Yeah. And to do so in a way that I'm actually solid in myself now. So this ring is actually the wedding ring from my second marriage, had a black stone in it, which is fitting for when you marry an incarnate demon. I mean, right? Yeah. Black jade is great. Makes a lot of sense. Took that out, right? No longer need that. That relationship ended. And I put just quartz, just healing master, quartz. One of the most, I think it is actually literally the most abundant crystal on the face of the planet. Mama Gaia loves us, gave us the most powerful one in abundance. And this represents now the love that I have for myself.
I love that so much.
And I came to that through this hardship. And so had I not had these experiences due to my childhood trauma, and that trauma was important for me now to be able to help others heal themselves, hold those keys, and to be like, here are the keys. Like, I'll show you what locks they go into, at least in my experience.
That's how I describe it too.
Yeah, it works. If I didn't learn how to truly love myself from these horrible experiences, and my second cancel culture was wielded against me from my second ex-wife, had to go to court over it, and went fine for me in court. I learned how to love myself through this process. And so now I can enter into whatever that other relationship is, clean, clear, healthy boundaries, and safe.
I love that.
So I can then co-create joy.
I love that. So just wrapping up, thank you. This was so much fun. I love this.
Yeah.
If anyone is moving through an experience like that, or deep pain or rock bottom, how can we use that as fuel and as like an inner knowing of, this is my biggest opportunity to show up and love myself. Yeah. This is the medicine for me to give myself what I need. And it's love.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity. And not to say that it's easy, it's fucking hard when you're in those places, but that's when we need it the most. And if we can give it to ourselves there, we can give it to ourselves anywhere else, and we'll have so much more capacity to offer that to other people.
Yeah. And the people who maybe like me need to use but it's helpful to use analogies and frameworks to try to make sense of it from a maybe more masculine perspective. I kept thinking of it as like, I am a spaceship and I'm going down into a place where there's a lot of learning, pain. That's a resource. And I need to dip out. And eventually I got what I need, the helium-3 or the fucking minerals or whatever. And I then need to come out of that.
With your resource.
Yeah, with those resources. But you come out like this and you're kind of like diving back in.
Yeah, baby deer.
Yeah, totally. And for me, it was like, okay, got to stabilize, and then put that trajectory back up slowly. You don't need to veer up because then you're going to go back like this and then you're going to be back in it again. You got to come back around. But for me, when I was in it, I was like, I need to stabilize. I need to to draw my circle just to myself, stabilize in myself, take care of my kid, pay my rent, take care of my business, boom. And not like after my divorce, I was not relating with anyone. I wasn't looking for anything.
Yeah.
Down the line, I'm sure I'll be in a relationship down the line. I'm not sleeping with anybody. I'm only hanging out with friends, male or female, doesn't matter, but I'm not looking for anything. I need to stabilize. So that would be my suggestion. Stabilize.
I love that. Yeah. I had that experience too. I would always highly suggest people spend a certain amount of time resourcing and anchoring back into themselves, because otherwise we figure out who we are and our identity comes so much through relationships. But if you don't take that time to decide for yourself, someone else will decide for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah. We'll continue the conversation on my podcast. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Part 2.
Yep.